Hello, Wine Warriors. It is I, your penultimate host, Scott. This episode today is all about From California with Love. We got together talking about our favorite wines from California in response to the wildfires in Napa and Sonoma and Mendocino County back in October. And we wake up a couple days after recording and we see now that there's another wildfire raging through just outside of Santa Barbara County. Just outside of north of LA, really. And at the time of recording this intro, which is Tuesday night, the night before this episode comes out, there is 50,000 acres that are impacted, 127 homes and buildings burnt already, one death, and it's just crazy. So that being said, please do take a look at the show notes with hyperlinks to places that you can donate to help those impacted from these wildfires. It is greatly appreciated. And also wanted to give a thanks to our listeners who were able to purchase through our advertisers in the month of October. We were able to make a nice donation to the Red Cross. Appreciate that very, very much. Thank you so much for doing that. And please feel welcome to donate on your own as well. Very much appreciated and in the spirit of the holiday season. So enjoy the show. This week's episode of Wine Wars is sponsored by Winc. Winc is a monthly wine subscription service that is custom designed specifically for your palate. If you go to trywink.com/winewars, you will answer a simple questionnaire that will allow Winc to hone in on your specific preferences. We've been using Winc for a few months now, and it's really honed in on the exact palate that we all each have, in particular Jason and his love for rosé. If you go to trywink.com/winewars, you will also receive free shipping and $20 off your first purchase from Winc. Again, that's trywink.com/winewars. This week's episode of Wine Wars is also sponsored by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/winewars for a free audiobook and 30-day free trial of Audible. Whether you want a book about wine, a book about Star Wars, or a book about something else like sports, people like sports, right? Audible has you covered with seemingly endless titles to choose from. Again, that's audibletrial.com/winewars for a free audiobook and 30-day free trial of Audible. Enjoy the show.
Previously on Wine Wars.
I think we should go.
Light to dark?
Light to dark,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll start with Pinot then.
This is, what am I going to do? I think I have to throw this out.
What is it?
Merlot.
Do it. Dump it.
Jason
You want a dump cup? We can use this.
Jason has had enough alcohol.
Here, use that for dump
Just
cup.
because I have an attitude problem doesn't mean I've had enough alcohol.
Yes, it does.
Wine Wars, the show with four friends who love three things: wine and Star Wars.
Welcome to Wine Wars. You're joining the four of us as we sniff, sip, and talk about wine live from our basement here in Madison, Wisconsin. I am your excellent host and spectator, and with me as always are Scott.
Hello, Anne.
Good evening.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
It's the holiday season.
Are you feeling it?
Whoop-de-doo. Those are lyrics
They are.
from a cherished holiday song.
Cherished. Mm-hmm. Jason.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, all. How you doing?
Good to see ya.
Good to see you guys here
I see you're
on
drinking
the
water.
holidays.
You're drinking some water there.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Sip some of that water, babe. And Amy.
What's up?
Not much. Amy made us a pie.
Mm-hmm.
I did. It's an apple pie with a homemade crust.
If it's anything like your peach,
Yeah.
Kind
Fingers
of-
crossed.
kind of a world-renowned thing.
Peach pie was a whole...
I
She
think
just made
it
a-
almost had its own Twitter hashtag.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like if that happens again, it's
She
gonna
made
get
a couple
its own.
Trended.
It did.
Trended.
She made a couple peach pies for a party a few months ago, and a friend of ours, musician from California, Megan Slankard, lost her mind.
She's been on the show.
She has been.
Big Star Trek
maybe
fan.
episode 17-ish, something like that.
Wine with rock
But
stars.
she literally traveled around with Amy's pie
Every gig.
And a fork.
and a fork through the whole weekend.
And
And if
we
we went somewhere where the pie wasn't, she'd be like,
do
do
you guys know where my pie is?
do you think the pie's okay
Oh my
in the hotel? Is it okay? Should I go get it?
was
I should
really
go get
good.
it, right?
I didn't know this. So this is like
that happened. That was the theme of the My Love music.
Megan, if you're listening, I love you.
I love you too.
And Megan's like, I love your pie.
She did send a postcard to me mentioning the pie.
Did she really?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it was to Scott and I because we're Patreon supporters of her.
Nice.
So
She's a sweetie pie.
I see what you did
Freudian
there.
slip, really.
So serendipitous, Megan actually lives out in San Francisco, right around the Napa, Sonoma area.
And that's what we'll be talking about this evening. We want to honor our good friends out there after the fires and talk about what happened, how folks are doing, and why we still love their wines and why we should still be buying them and visiting.
I have a quick anecdote about that before we move along.
Okay.
I was talking to Megan's manager on the phone, and he was like, yeah, last night was nuts. Because we thought that like there was a fire. I actually talked to Megan and her manager like in the couple days, and
Mr. Manager?
Mr. Manager, and Megan was she's like, we thought our house was on fire. Literally thought our house was on fire. I got up, I was looking around trying to figure out what was happening. And Megan lives in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And all these fires are way north.
Right.
And so she kind of alerted me to it, and then I was talking to her manager, and he said the same thing. It was there was like literally ash days later, like literally ash coming in.
Wow.
Like he found it in his like bathtub and stuff. It was
wow.
that's how far south it was like trailing to.
Wow.
So the fires in California
joke.
were no joke.
No.
No, not at all.
All right, we're going to get to it. But first,
Dun, 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 dun. Dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
this will be the last Wine Wars podcast you hear before the next Star Wars movie.
That is correct.
So we're going to just geek out on that for just a minute.
Episode 8 is so close, and I don't know. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to like.
That's the problem.
I'm on a whole media blackout for anytime I see
I
anything.
don't know how it's happened. I haven't seen any trailers.
They're
For
selling
you.
a car, I saw.
Yeah, I think
They're doing another, last year they did Nissan. I think Nissan is hooked
Rogue.
up with Disney, right?
Right.
Last year they did the Nissan Rogue One.
Oh, I get it.
so. It's all Rogue. Yeah,
Sure.
I can't remember what this year's. Is it another Rogue this year? I don't know what.
I don't
this
think
is.
it's a
don't know.
Rogue,
But it's a Nissan, so
They're-
they're in cahoots through this run with Disney. So
I
don't know,
did see
folks.
a Jaguar. No, not a Jaguar. A Rolls Royce for over $200,000. That was all decked out with Star Wars stickers all over it. It looked really awesome.
In Madison, Wisconsin?
No, I saw this on the internet.
that makes more
That's
sense.
way more
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. I don't know if
A
anybody in
Subaru
Madison has a
Outback?
Rolls Royce.
Sure. Sure. Coexist sticker.
Kia
a little
Sorento.
outline of a
Right.
stormtrooper. Sure.
Rolls
Yeah.
Royce. Never seen one in Wisconsin.
No, never.
I can't say I have it in.
You're lucky if you see like a Mercedes. That's pretty fancy here. No. A Tesla, a Mercedes. That's
I'd say
fancy.
like Lamborghinis. Like, what? You must be from out of town.
People
Yeah.
don't drive Lamborghinis.
Not here.
Anywhere.
I've never seen one.
You can't fill them with anything at Costco.
No. How are you supposed to fit your Duraflames in the Lamborghini?
I
Yeah.
don't even think
There's
they have
no
a trunk
room
in
for
the
your
trunk.
cheese.
Yeah.
I think you have to put it in the hood like in the Beatles.
I
Anyways,
gotta put my little charcoal grill in my brats. Where's it gonna go?
In my beer.
Ain't gonna work. No.
So we're going to see the movie, not opening because it comes out technically Thursday at like
The 14th.
10 o'clock or whatever on the 14th. So we're going the night of the 15th. So no spoilers, internet. Don't ruin this. Because as Jason says, I've tried desperately not to watch anything, and it is really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched the trailers, but the trailers can be misleading.
Yes.
But I'm not looking for. Don't tell me your goddamn theories. No theories, thanks.
But you have
You
theories.
talking to me?
Just anyone.
Yeah, you want to talk theories?
I've got some theories. I'm trying not even to have my own theories.
Right.
Like I'm trying
build
not
up.
to speculate even a little bit.
Well, it seems like they're showing a lot more footage of this than they did on Force Awakens. It feels like
Really?
they're definitely
Well,
hitting the advertising a lot.
Here's
harder.
why I think that is. This movie has been done for months, so they have actual
footage.
final footage to use in the trailer.
In Force Awakens,
And
the
Force
footage,
Awakens,
they didn't even use what was in the...
there was a lot that wasn't used. There was a lot that was like
Rogue
bonkers
One was
town.
all reshot.
Yeah. So this one is like they actually can make trailers from the movie that we're gonna see. Whee!
Well,
And they're
that's
doing it in a way to
interesting.
trick you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I watched we talked about the first one a few months ago. The second one, I didn't watch the whole way through. I watched half of it with sound, then shut off the sound. And I'm like, I don't want to hear this. And then I just watched the pictures.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
this doesn't sound like Scott.
I know. I'm like Jason. Like, I don't want to know anything about this. And like, they're putting like behind the scenes footage online, and it pops up in your feed just because of algorithms.
Yeah.
And
It knows I like Star Wars, obviously. So every other thing is like Anne, Scott, Amy, Star Wars. Anne, Scott, Amy, Star Wars.
Sounds like a pretty sweet life you have.
I know. It's kind of a bubble. I forget.
Yeah.
They call
Is
it
it
a bubble.
echo chamber?
Yeah.
2017, we all
It's like
crawling
so everybody likes wine in Star Wars. Sweet.
we're all in this together. Yeah. The only theories so two things. One, how's everyone going to handle seeing Carrie Fisher on the screen?
I'm over it.
Are you? It's been enough time.
I don't know. We'll see.
Over it? What does that even mean? Over it.
He's processed. He's
I
grieved.
professed. I professed.
I guess I can't answer that until the day happens. But I think I would feel more like, yeah, one last hurrah instead of
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
whatever else there is.
Every time I see her in a preview, though, out loud, I go, oh. So maybe that's how
So
I
just
feel.
Don't do that.
I'm
in the
just trying to
theater.
pretend
guess.
like, Carrie Fisher is not Princess Leia.
Right.
So just gotta accept it.
But it's confirmed she will not appear in the 9th.
Well,
Episode 9.
how
so-
would she?
Right. Because that's the point. Well, I mean, computers could make it happen if they really wanted to.
And then
Yeah.
that would piss me off.
Right. That would piss me
So-
off more.
So it seems likely she's going to die in this one, right?
Spoiler alert, Scott!
Yeah.
Well, art imitates life.
Oh, let me guess. Is George Michael going to die in this one, too?
And Bowie. They're all on the same ship.
And
Oh.
Prince?
Mhm.
Great. Great.
It's a literal Death Star. I killed Scott with that one.
Did you see the tweet that said we all have to grapple with the fact that the rapture came and the only people who made the cut were Bowie and Prince?
Funny because it's true.
Felt real.
But kind of to your point, Amy is like, yeah. One thing I'm super happy about is that that Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill got to kind of relive this.
Yeah.
Near the
They
end.
got to
And
have a moment.
Mark seems like he's having just a blast. Like he's
I'm
always
so happy for him.
he's always been one that's not shirked away from Star Wars. A lot of people were like, yeah, I worked on Star Wars, but I have other career.
I'd made other movies,
And Mark, he's a giant
also Han
voice
Solo.
actor, but he was the Joker on the Batman animated series for like 15 years or something like that.
He's really good, too. That Joker is awesome.
But he just seems to be having a blast coming back to play
He
Luke.
does.
So that's really nice to see.
And he was, from what I read, I don't know if this is true or not, but he was reluctant to come back, and Harrison Ford talked him into it.
Oh.
What?
I would never have guessed.
No.
I would have
I would've
guessed
thought the other way
the
around.
Other way
other
around,
way
for
around.
sure. Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Fans? Is
I don't
that
know.
true?
Somebody tell us if that's actually true. Mark Hamill, if you would please
Tweet at us at Wine Wars
at
Podcast.
Wine Wars.
I would die. I'm dying.
You would die of death? Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
You had a second point, or was that your second point?
First and second point.
First one about Carrie.
Uh-huh.
And I think the mystique is what's with Luke in this.
Right. What
Right.
is with Luke? Is he bad?
I don't
I think he's
he
just
is.
super jaded.
I
How
think-
could he not be?
Right. I think he hates the fact that the Force is still a thing. I think he's going to feel that it's too powerful to have for any one person to wield, and is reluctant to get involved. So,
Reluctant hero story arc.
well, I don't think he's going to leave that island.
You don't?
I don't think he's going to leave that island.
I don't think so.
Yoda doesn't leave the swamp.
Dagobah.
He doesn't leave Dagobah.
Oh.
So
Following in
Rey's
the
gonna-
master's footsteps.
right, Rey's gonna get.
Or
She
actually-
obviously leaves. Right, she's gonna leave the island.
She leaves.
Right,
He is gonna send her on her journey.
right.
Just like Yoda sent Luke on his.
Oh my God, you guys have chills.
But he can. What I would love to see is the training and what he's learned about the Force beyond what we know about the Force, and like the lessons that he can impart and then send her on her journey.
Yeah.
That's probably what we'll see.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll get a pretty sweet training montage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love training montages.
You're the best. Oh, nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
Someone put that cut together on the internet, please.
That would be so great.
All right, so we
Okay.
Yep.
Are we
Do you
still on
have any
Star
theories?
Wars?
Do you guys have any theories?
anything from
Well,
the
I
Y
did, but
chromosomes?
you said it first.
Oh, typical.
Well,
Hey.
he's the man.
You're right.
Do we want to read our reviews now?
Oh, yes.
Oh, we have a few new reviews.
Yeah, thanks, listeners.
We do.
Yes, so we do
What
want-
a pleasant surprise,
So I'll hand that
folks.
to Ann. So we do always are very thankful for those that leave reviews on iTunes. It's how other listeners learn about the show. It helps our rankings, so on and so forth. We very much appreciate it. And as part of that, we do want to give shout outs and say thanks to those who leave the reviews. So Ann is going to read a couple reviews here, and we'll have a little response.
Okay, I think we'll do bad news first.
Okay.
Bad news first, 1-star review.
What?
Wine Warriors.
To me, it seems like they should all be 1-star reviews, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed with.
Did you
We
leave
only
this?
have-
You
That
leave
was
this?
me. That was me.
Yeah, did you leave?
It seems that this person didn't leave their name, which is probably a good idea because it's quite rude.
But it's,
It's
all
called
news
the
is news.
That's what they say.
That's
That's,
fine.
the old saying. Okay, so this person says that they tried to listen to a We Set podcast. It took skipping along a few minutes to get actual complete sentences before the male that tried to talk sounded like he was suffering from a concussion. Ouch.
What? I mean, the thing is
Is there more?
Couldn't listen to the drivel.
Uh-huh.
And won't waste time on trying to listen to their other offerings. So the words that are popping out at me are
Male.
Concussion.
suffering, concussion, drivel,
Drivel.
and waste time.
Well, Jason and I play football before every show, and we don't really have concussion protocol here.
No.
No.
And sometimes when you drink and play football,
right?
And you don't ever wear a helmet.
No,
by
it's
the
old
way,
school.
Mom, thank you for the review.
Right.
But I mean, they kind of have like our.
They described us well.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the
Yeah,
drivel.
you got the drivel. Sure.
Like you do.
Sure.
If you want to hear something very informative, you know.
And if you
There's
want
also you know
you like, and males like, you know what?
sometimes but
I mean, you know what I mean?
yeah, I was saying, but then
Exactly.
me too, right?
Yeah.
Sound like a McDonald's drive-through. I think that this person didn't read about how our whole thing was to not be snobby,
Yeah.
and that maybe she approached this. Or I don't know why I'm saying she.
Oh,
That
that is
is
interesting.
Oh.
Because she used the word male.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a guy would have.
might
written
A
it.
guy would never. He would say the dude.
You could just say the boys
Yeah.
or the person.
I don't even think he
I
would
don't
call
know.
out gender.
The moron talking wouldn't.
I think this listener approached this podcast looking for something we weren't here to offer.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for that.
But
Yep.
to be fair, Scott's pointed out we are damaging our brains nightly here at the
That's
Wine
what
Wars
we're here
podcast.
to
We
do.
do
Yeah.
drink wine
So-
on the show and talk about the wine that we drink on the show.
And
That is a thing we do.
unfortunately, at some point in the show, the inebriation sets in, and sometimes
Before
we don't
the
make
show.
a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, didn't we do like an episode where we drank port?
Oh, I love
Yep.
Didn't that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why-
currently,
What was that? What was that?
I'm just saying.
20%
I can't
alcohol.
remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
high alcohol. I got you.
high alcohol.
I can't remember if that was recorded or not. It was a fun night.
Anyway, we always appreciate a review.
We do.
We have fun with it. So
Well,
let's
yeah,
move on
I
to.
legit-
But
We
also,
loved this.
I mean, that is valuable learning. Like
I'm going to try to sound less
That we should
concuss-
in
concussed.
the future.
And
they're
we
not
should.
obviously not talking about you, ladies. They're talking about me directly.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I need to sound less concussed as I speak. So I'm gonna do a better fucking job
Work
of
on your-
articulating and making more poignant points.
And drivel less.
I'll drivel less. I'll try to drivel less.
Yeah. He dribbled all the
Never
way to
on the seat.
back room.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to greener
but-
pastures here.
But yes, and this is from Arctic Girl, which you had me at Arctic Girl because you sound a little Alaskan,
Oh.
and I feel you. Can't read this whole title. I think it's this phone. But anyway, here's the review.
Damn phone.
What could be more important than a wine education while worrying about the future of the planet?
Oh.
Love you, Arctic Girl. These 4 fans of the grape help you discern what to serve and when, and challenge you to go beyond your comfort zone and try something new. Great information from a non-snob.
We are totally not
Recognize.
snobs.
Setting with great guests that totally explain why you should expand your tastings. Love this podcast.
Did she say totally? Or is that you?
No, she said total. I did not write it. Sounds like I wrote this. I didn't write this. I promise.
So how do we know she's a she?
Arctic
Girl.
I see.
You sound a little concussed.
That's my new favorite put down. Oh, man.
Jason, you sound concussed. I can't even right now.
That's a really good impression.
So listeners, we all have an
I feel
inside joke
concussed,
now.
though.
So thank you to really both of the reviews.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
happy to have any
Really fun.
Yep.
any feedback.
Yep. We'll read them. They come in, we'll read them. Woo. Okay. Wine?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So apparently we get like 1 or 5. There's no
Reviews?
middle ground here.
It's true.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
fine.
Moving on.
Good.
To
But thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So today's theme, From California with Love.
Oh.
That's nice. Okay, so it was October 8th of this year, 2017, that these fires broke out in Northern California, and they were horrible. They went from like 200 acres to 35,000 acres in certain spots over the course of a couple hours, and you hear all these harrowing stories of people just barely making it out. 41 people actually died. I don't know if that was a final number
I saw
or not.
42.
42.
Yeah.
So, no joke. We have a little personal experience with it because our intern, Angela, actually volunteered with the Red Cross and went out to one of the most northern, I think it was the very most northern fire, and was working a emergency shelter out there and had a lot of personal stories. So we are paying really close attention and feeling for the animals and the families. And of course, in so many cases, a winery is somebody's home and their business.
Yeah.
And trying to think of how we could help. So we did what we could through donations last month through the sponsorships, which is awesome. But we also wanted to take this podcast to just talk about why you should love Napa and Sonoma wines, and also tell you about what we've learned. So where are you at, Scott?
So I am guilty of kind of shitting on California quite a bit in my wine preferences. So I wanted to highlight something that I really love of California, which is Russian River Valley Pinot Noir.
OMG.
Yep. So Pinot Noir, of course, is a very fickle grape coming from Burgundy. It requires a very specific climate to grow appropriately, and it requires a very specific vinification process to be produced appropriately. And both of these things we didn't really have pulled together in California until about the 1970s, and really in spades not till up to like in the 2000s. So Pinot Noir originally was planted in California in about the mid-1800s, but it didn't really take as a popular grape.
Like people just didn't know what to do with it, or
Yeah,
it
they-
wasn't growing well.
A bit of both. So they struggled to find the right plot of land for it to grow, and they weren't really able to produce it so they would compare it to like a Burgundian style and try to use that as a benchmark, with variations, and as you do when you're in a new wine region. And they just couldn't hone in on it until they figured out that in Sonoma is home to some of the best regions for the Pinot Noir grape. Russian River Valley in particular is one of the best of the best.
So, like, if we're looking at the state of California, where is the Russian River Valley located?
The Russian River Valley is part of Sonoma, which is actually closer to the coast than Napa. Napa's further inland. So it's just north of like the San Francisco Bay Area. And that plays a large part in why Pinot Noir can grow well in the Russian River Valley area.
Well, it's probably getting the cooler air from the ocean.
Right. So the Russian River itself actually starts up in Mendocino County, which is further north, and it works its way down and then takes a sharp westward turn through Sonoma. And the Russian River Valley AVA is kind of built along the river with the river to its south, I believe. So because it's close to the ocean, because it's close to the Bay Area, and because it has the river there, you get fog coming in quite often. So the temperature in that region is quite often, 5-10 degrees cooler than the surrounding areas because of that. So you have the fog setting in at night, cooling the grapes, and then quite often it sticks around through a good chunk of the morning as well. So when the other grapes in the surrounding regions are warming up and producing sugars, this is aging a lot slower.
Yeah, because the temperature is fluctuating a lot less, correct?
Yeah, that as well. So because of that, the Pinot Noir grape does very well in the Russian River Valley. The other half of the reason why Pinot didn't grow too well in California not grow too well, it didn't produce too well in terms of a wine until the 70s or so, is the production techniques. So they use now what is called a cold soak. So when you're macerating the grapes and drawing out the juice, they drop the temperature down so it you don't boil off, like in air quotes, boil off the flavors. So it's a very soft press when you're fermenting it. So it replicates the temperatures that you have in Burgundy when they do their harvest. So when they're typically harvesting in Burgundy, it's a lot cooler than it will be in California, naturally. So until they kind of figured that out, the wine that they were producing wasn't really matching the flavor profile that they were getting.
That makes so much sense.
Because they were applying too much heat originally?
Right. You'd be surprised. I sound concussed. You'd be surprised the difference that you can get in flavor from 5-degree difference in fermentation, 2-degree difference in fermentation. It throws off the flavors a bunch.
Yeah.
So once they honed in on both of those, the growing region and the fermentation and production style, they finally started to create a Pinot Noir in that Burgundian style. And this, from California, Russian River Valley is where I pretty much always go for a Pinot Noir. Santa Barbara is also very good. Further south, cooler. No, that doesn't make sense. Warmer region, but that's a completely different region because it has the ocean right off it. We can talk about that some other time. But this is, when you talk California and wines that you love, this is a wine that I love from California.
Yeah, Russian River Valley Pinot is totally a thing. And what we're drinking right now, what's the name?
So this is Benovia. They are they have vineyards throughout kind of Sonoma and Napa region. They purchased about, I believe, 9 acres of land from the Russian River Valley region that was originally planted from the 70s. So when they were starting to get things turned around, that's where they got 9 acres of land from in the Russian River Valley.
Is this one of the vineyards affected by the fire?
No, so they were, Benovia themselves were mainly unaffected. The winery and the vineyard itself survived just fine. However, their winemaker and a lot of the employees that work the farm, their houses were burned down. So the winery itself is fine, but the employees, family impacted. Something else that they're doing that's kind of neat, if you live in California and you go to Benovia in December, every visitor that comes to the tasting room, they're offering $50 donations to the Redwood Credit Union North Bay Fire Relief Fund. So if you're out in California, be sure to go visit them, and you can taste the wines that we're drinking.
Some happy news.
The reason I asked that was because when you're looking at the list of wineries that were really truly affected, it was it's a lot of boutique wineries. It's
surprising, yeah.
Yeah, but which makes a lot of sense because not a lot of truly the vineyards themselves were decimated or anything like that. It was a lot more of the residential.
The houses or the wineries themselves or like the storage areas.
Yeah. So just a couple of points I think we should point out about then we can come back to the wine itself. A couple of the things that we should point out is the I think that there was a ton of hoopla made about the wine region, and really it was affecting a lot of residential stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of personal homes were destroyed,
Lots, yeah.
and so there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of supply chain disruption. So like people being able to like get to warehouse, get to work, power getting turned off.
Oh yeah, because they'd be driving down the highway, and then there would be like a tree, or
Right.
Yeah.
Knocking
it'd
the
be
power line
covered
out.
in fire, or
So, like,
both.
Power's going out, so the warehouses are, like not temperature controlled anymore. There's a lot of that stuff happening. Like we kind of see a lot of photographic evidence of destruction, and which isn't necessarily like there's some
Representative of
impact.
what was
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Lots of ripple effects.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
But what we're hearing was almost like the hoopla actually was more detrimental to them as a business than anything.
right.
And that one of the pieces of advice you hear if you want to be helpful is buy the wines. So
Well, it's that and more so visit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because-
So that was the big thing that happened was
It was prime tourist season,
Yeah.
harvest, right?
It'd be a perfect time to be there. Yep.
And
Yeah.
they were these fire reports were going on, and everyone's like, "Well, I don't want to go. I don't."
everybody's
wanna be,
canceling their
right,
trips.
Cancel your flight. Cancel.
And
the
they
trip.
didn't reschedule. They canceled.
Yeah.
And the number I saw was that they estimated a $3 billion impact.
Yeah. It's tasting rooms that should be dozens and dozens of people are just been empty all fall. And so
So the best thing we can do is go drink in Napa.
Yep.
Or Sonoma or Mendocino.
yep.
So look forward to that.
Yep.
Following up on the vineyards themselves, for the most part, all of them had harvested already before the fires swept through. So the impact of smoke taint and things like that aren't that big of an issue. It was a warm, dry season, so people were able to harvest their grapes before the fires really became a problem.
The number I saw was that 90% of Napa grapes were harvested,
Yeah.
and that the 10% that were left were coated in ash. So
Which is going to be kind of interesting how that people are going to market that.
I don't know if they actually picked them and processed them, but if they did, yeah, like I would like to try that.
Ooh, but it's got some interesting flavors if they do.
Yeah.
Well, you'd see if, I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to be, taint a wine production or.
Smoke taint is a thing.
Yeah.
It impacts
It
the
is.
flavor big time. Yeah, you're smoking the grapes.
Can it be in a good way, or is it always
I
bad?
mean, do you want smoke in your flavor?
Yes,
Maybe like
I
Zin,
do.
it might be
Yeah,
fine, right?
yeah.
Smoky
But
is an adjective.
Pinot Noir,
Not in a Pinot. No.
in a Sauvignon Blanc.
no, but
you
a
know,
cab you would.
It depends on the grapes.
And I
You
think
might-
it was the cab that was
That's what they
that
said
was
was
left.
cab.
I think it was the cab. That could be good. A
makes sense.
smoky
Oh.
cab.
could be.
Wow.
We'll see.
yep.
It'll just be interesting to see in 2 years what the marketing campaign is on.
Yeah.
I don't know what the flavor profiles are.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted. We'll just keep drinking them. We'll let you know.
Huh?
Okay. Good talk. So what this?
So this is 100% Pinot Noir.
Yes.
Pinot Noir is pretty much always 100%. They rarely blend them. So
no
it's
need.
from
Why is that?
the varietal is just so distinct.
Yeah.
If you start throwing stuff in there, it's going to really change it.
Yeah.
If I just smelled it, I would have guessed that it was Chilean Malbec.
Really?
Weird.
Yep.
Really?
And then you taste it, and it's clearly Pinot.
You sound concussed.
But just by the nose, it has that really herbaceous thing that
Yep.
southern Chilean wines have.
Mentholy.
It does.
I'm
But
getting
I don't
kind of
ever
like
think of that on Pinot.
like when you crush an herb, like you pick the herb out of the ground and you've crushed some of the leaves, but there's still dirt clinging to it, is what I smell in here. It's a wide spectrum of earthy and green.
It's 100% Pinot. There is
Yep.
something about Russian River Valley that's such a distinct flavor. It's
Totally.
like cherry, bright fruit, and just a roundness to
Yeah.
it. Very well balanced.
Like velvety and like soft. And this is
is
the
beautiful.
epitome of what I think of California Pinot is. That's what that's supposed to be.
So this is 2013 Benovia, Russian River Valley. They make about 6 to 8 different varietals. They also do Zin and Chardonnay, I believe. Quick side note, Russian River Valley also does Chardonnay very well. Obviously makes sense because it's a Burgundy.
Burgundy. Yep.
Yeah, I dig it. This
What
this
was-
was about $37, which is not too far off for a
How
Russian River
much?
Valley. 37. So it's a bit expensive.
That's why this is amazing.
Yeah.
But the holidays are here, so get something
Whoop-de-doo.
nice for
Right.
your friends and family.
Thanks for splurging
help-
for us,
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott and Amy.
Helping out the region, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, look
It's
for
cool because it's obviously a family or a small vineyard.
Yes. So the name itself, Benovia, is so the owners.
I believe Anne Hathaway is the princess of Benovia.
Oh yeah, Anne and I were just talking.
I thought it
about
was
this.
like in Avengers they saved Benovia.
This is
Benovia,
from the
I'll tell
Princess
ya.
Diaries.
Princess Diaries.
Yeah, Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that. Sorry.
Oh,
or
great
was
film.
was
Great film.
Astoria,
Isn't it
the country. Never mind.
you
Sorry.
Anyway.
Moldova.
You guys sound concussed.
You guys are concussed.
So the owners, Joe Anderson and his wife, Mary Dwayne, their parents, Ben and Novian, so Benjamin and Novian, they combined the names.
Aw.
Benovia.
Got it.
So that was each of their fathers. So Benjamin, Novian.
Gotcha.
Bam.
Cool.
It's really good. A special small vineyard,
9-acre
small
plot,
production.
right?
Yeah, which is why they're able to command the money that they're getting out of it.
Sorry, Genovia.
you're sunken
She's the
cost.
princess of Genovia. I knew I was close. What is this?
Benovia.
Come on.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah. I'm
Come
with
on,
Anne.
everybody.
I have never seen the Princess Diaries nor
Will
I see the
Yeah.
Princess Diaries.
Julie Andrews. Come on,
I
people.
love her.
Yeah.
I'll watch Mary
This is what we do when you guys go do band.
we watch princess movies.
We banned pretty hard.
I watched a princess movie today.
Speaking of, if you're in Appleton, Wisconsin on December 8th,
The
9th.
weekend after this airs.
Damn it! Way to
cut-
promote.
I cut you off before that. I'm sorry. Were you saying
I'm
something?
concussed. I can't even remember what we're talking. What are we doing right now? We're talking about wine.
When I first sipped this, I heard that Halloween voice. That happens to me a lot in the back
What
of my
does that
head.
mean?
It's
Like a
alive.
cackling
It's alive.
Like a Lady Vincent Price.
Yes. It's alive. Like it's jumping out of this glass and saying, I want to live.
Yeah, it's a vibrant, beautiful, beautiful wine.
And it's for California, I think it's 14.3, 14.1. So obviously pretty high alcohol. Burgundy, you'd probably be 12 to 13. So it's California's got the fruit. It's got a little jam, but it's so well balanced. I dig them. I love them.
I can't believe I'm drinking a 14.
I
It
know.
doesn't feel like
That's
it, right?
that's the weirder thing is how young, relatively young that is, and how
13.
nice and balanced it is.
Yeah, I'm sure these would age very, very well. So,
Yeah.
All right, moving
All
on.
right. I'm sad to move along, but we should.
Well, we'll come back. We'll come back to this guy.
I'll be back. I'm not coming back for oats.
The
Family Guy.
the poster child of the fires, a lot of the social media stuff that was coming up was William Hill had and I'm not even sure if this is like their main place, but William Hill had their main sign was all burnt and tarnished, so it was like the representation of the California
Media
fires.
crack.
So what we're drinking next is William Hill Merlot, and William Hill makes some, I think, some pretty beautiful stuff. Their cabs and their blends, and they're generally the $30 plus range. We're drinking the I think kind of
14, I think.
the baby of the portfolio. So it's the Central Coast Merlot.
Who the baby?
And it's
Merlot, the baby.
2013. Am I right?
14.
There, 2014.
Sorry.
So it's a young Merlot. The grapes from this are it's all Merlot from the Central Valley, and it's pretty much Merlot based. It's 86% Merlot, 5% Syrah, 5% Malbec, 1% Malbec, 1% Petite Syrah, and then 3% select red varietals. So whatever that means, but it's sort of
kind of a
sort of
Bordeaux
a
blend.
it's a mini Bordeaux blend. Scott mentioned earlier the
It's like a right bank Bordeaux. Heavy Merlot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would
Yes.
guess Petites.
Yeah, Petite Syrah.
it's in there. It's in there.
Verdot.
But yeah, it's the warm growing areas of San Luis Obispo and Monterey counties. So these were not affected by
the vineyards themselves are fine,
Yeah.
but like their showroom got burnt or something like that.
I'm not even sure. I was looking for what was actually affected. And since we were doing an episode on what was affected, like William Hill was the poster child for this
I
because
wonder if they
of,
don't want to be. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I
probably
wouldn't
not
want to be.
super helpful.
And I'm sure that
Yeah.
it's not like affecting the grapes. And it's probably just,
Right.
you know, somebody got a good picture of the devastation of the sign, right?
Right.
Right.
So, and I literally could not find what the damage to it was. But anyway, I thought I found it. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we should talk about it.
Well, I think, aren't we? The last article that I read, they were up to about 27 wineries that had significant
Yeah.
Issues.
destructions. So, I mean, if you really want to do your homework and support
Those particular
those particular wineries, that'd be great. Otherwise, you could try to just find things from
the region in general and visit.
right,
And
right,
visiting
and
is the big
visiting.
thing.
They're all suffering
big
from
time.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that the biggest thing that we can do as consumers is, but go if you can go if not buy the wine, right?
We'll go there and then buy it.
Or
Even
say
better.
nice things about it, tweet about it, and podcast about it.
Yeah.
Be a lover, not a hater. How
Yeah.
about that?
But
for
there
a
is
change?
like the Red Cross and things like. What are the other options that you can do to give to? Because it's California, it's the citizens of
You can
California.
also just give to anything conservation related and helping with their. I mean, I'm gonna say water supply, but that's not really the problem. It's just dry.
Yeah.
It's just dry.
This could
Oh,
be in.
But
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say in the show notes, we'll include some links for places where you can give
Donate. Sure.
for helping out the industry.
As far as a wine goes, this was
yeah, let's talk
like
about that.
an inexpensive wine in their portfolio, but $15.99 was what I got this at the Hy-Vee grocery store.
It's great for $15.99.
I think so too. It's a nice, soft, little, easy drinking, probably better with food kind of wine.
Yeah. A lot more jammy than the Pinot, as you get in California. So it is a good representation of California.
Yeah.
Merlot.
And people poo-poo Merlot all the time, but I think this is a great
I
red wine.
prefer Merlot over Cab.
I also
I do
the
too.
softness and the
A good Merlot.
yeah, a
Yes.
good Merlot.
Bad Merlot's bad.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say this is a
so
bad
it's bad
Merlot,
Yeah.
especially for $16.
Sure. Absolutely.
Now that we said Petite Verdot, it's like all I can taste. You said that's in there, right?
Verdot?
Yeah,
Or
but Petite Syrah is in there.
1%.
And Petite Verdot.
No,
No.
Petite
No
Verdot
Verdot?
is a traditional
Bordeaux grape.
blend.
That's not it?
Yeah,
Oh.
Okay, what is Verdot that makes you think you're picking that up?
This
it's
super
really
inky,
distinct, inky.
dark. I feel like I'm getting on the finish of this, so I don't know what that would be instead. Or almost like coats your throat with darkness.
Could be the Malbec.
Yeah,
Malbec?
Malbec. Maybe
I really
so.
like this wine a lot. It's kind of got like a soft cherry, kind of like not even the stewed, but like if you roasted a cherry, like in its juice.
It's lovely. It's a really good value, I think. It wants food.
What would you
Yes.
eat with this?
Cheese, crackers.
So this will be great for all the holiday parties coming up.
Yeah.
Would be a good bottle to bring to a party.
People
Yeah.
would like
It's
this.
definitely
Be a crowd pleaser.
a bottle you could bring to a party and everybody would be
It tastes
satisfied.
like it's a little expensive. Like it doesn't taste like
Yeah.
a
Not
grocery store slammer
It'd be
at all.
like a classy book club wine.
Yeah, this says I'm a classy bitch.
Yeah, totally. Now have my Ritz crackers with this,
Right.
you know, or
Exactly.
my saltines.
Little
And
cheese fry, little cheddar
it's
ball.
been open a while too, and it's about the same as it was when we
Yeah.
opened it. It's
Yeah, I
not moving
wouldn't
around.
expect that to change too much over time.
Just because of the structure of the Merlot.
I think they, like you said, this is their entry level. It's built to drink younger.
I don't even know if it's their entry level, but they definitely have better stuff probably
Right.
available. This just happens to be probably people don't like Merlot, so it's cheaper
Wow.
than everything else.
Aw.
Merlot has the tarnished name.
Still,
tarnished-
why
the-
are people like
the
over
tarnished
it
grape.
already?
Get over
Get
it, people.
over it.
Get on your Merlot.
I actually, as a wine snobby kind of guy,
Yeah, keep the price
like,
down.
Yeah, keep the price down. I'll keep buying all the shitty quote air quotes.
Can you
can't
guys see his
that.
air quotes?
You can't see the air quotes.
Yeah.
Shitty Merlot, and that's fine with me.
Mo
Yeah.
Merlot for me.
Right.
The next wine is the Stag's Leap, which out of the 27 wines that were just problem wineries, there was
Through the fire, you mean?
through the fire. Yeah, there was really only two, I would say probably more distributed wines.
Like more commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stag's Leap might have been the biggest one.
Yeah. So I was actually kind of surprised. I found some William Hill, and Stag's Leap is a little bit more widely distributed. So got the Stag's Leap 2013 Petite Syrah for two reasons. Was Stag's Leap has a historic manor house that people were worried was what was damaged, and don't worry, guys. The manor house is fine.
Oh,
Manor house is cool.
Oh, good to know.
But what was destroyed was some outbuildings and some property on the ground was burned, but it should be good to go.
so that property was hot?
Yes.
Hot
property.
Oh.
Simultaneously, we had some inky spill, so we're taking care of
using
Wine
wine
away.
Who should be a sponsor on our
They
show, by the
really
way.
should be, because I live my life and soaked in wine away.
You guys, is anybody out there in radio
Away world.
wine world learned of
Hey, big
wine away?
away. Get a hold
Yeah.
of us.
P.S. We stayed when we visited the Loire Valley. We stayed in this beautiful little flat, and it was so pretty and French, and even the toilet paper was like kind of like imprinted, almost embroidery toilet. It was like just so cute and pretty and French. And we spilled a huge glass of wine on this lace tablecloth.
Oh.
It was a beautiful thing, huge red stain, and of course, our travel companion, little Debbie, pulls wine away out of her pants.
Out of her, she had it with her. She travels with wine away.
Instantly.
That's how I want to live.
Sprayed it, and it turned. It was really saturated, so it turned like a fluorescent blue.
Yep, it oxidizes. That's what it does.
Yeah, and we went to bed kind of like, oh shit.
It'll wash out.
Woke up in the morning. We didn't even wash it. We just woke up in the morning and it was gone. It was fine. It was like it didn't happen.
It's like
it was like
magic.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, wine away.
For real.
Yeah, own some.
Yeah.
Own
They're
some
not paying
today.
us to say that.
No.
No, we have it for the exact same. Well, we
It's like
spilled
people in the
we spilled on your lovely tablecloth visiting once, and then you brought it out, and you're like,
Ever
"Oh,
since.
don't worry, I have wine away."
wine away. What is it?
That's exactly the conversation that we had, and then I immediately bought a bottle of it, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, man.
So, anyway, they Stag's Leap did not have huge impact with like
So-
the actual wine
So
or
just
tasting room,
outbuildings, some
manor.
wine away. Wine away.
Jason, you sound
anyway,
concussed.
So anyway, wine away.
So when I was looking through the list of vineyards and wineries impacted, I was kind of shocked to see Stag's Leap on the list because they play a very key role in the history of California wine. So we've talked about this on the show before, the Judgment of Paris. In the 1970s, you can see the movie Bottle Shock is all about this. There was a blind tasting pitting California wine against French wines, Bordeaux and Burgundy against California.
Oh yeah.
And Stag's Leap was the winning red.
That's right.
Oh.
So the Stag's Leap Vineyard was established before the Stag's Leap AVA. So there's an AVA in California of Stag's Leap, which is not all just this producer.
Sure.
So it's they're the producer themselves. So they are very instrumental in giving California the reputation it has today.
Thanks,
So-
Stag's Leap.
So I was kind
Wow.
of shocked to see them on because they're so prominent, and
Yeah.
you want that history kept undamaged, right?
Absolutely.
So 1970s.
76 was when the judgment was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they've been around for the winery was founded in 1880s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and the manor house, which is the historic building that people were losing their mind about, was built in 1890.
Oh wow.
So and their first vintage was in 1893. So
Holy crap.
So they've been around a bit.
Yeah. Well, no wonder people were freaking out. That would have been such a shame.
For sure. So Manor House, fine. Go visit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the wine
So
itself.
the other thing was the other reason I picked this one was because Petite Syrah, I don't think we've talked about on this show.
We may. I mean, I'm sure we've mentioned it, but we haven't done a straight up varietal,
Right. So
which
Petite
is
Syrah
very unique.
is very unique. It is not Syrah.
It's a small.
Get that
Syrah.
out of your brain.
But it's
get
not.
it out.
It's a totally different grape.
It is, yeah, completely unrelated.
It is not tiny Syrah.
I feel like it's the business college downtown at UW Madison, and then somebody has the artsy girlfriend, and this is her.
Oh, compared against Syrah.
It's
The Petite Syrah compared to these other
All the
big
others?
Oh, to the other
grapes.
wines.
Yeah, she's
The
like her
artsy
own
girlfriend?
thing.
but it's actually a different grape altogether.
We're
guys.
clear.
Yes,
We're
yes,
clear.
yes.
We're clear. We're clear.
It's also called a Durif.
Durif?
Durif and it was named after Francois Durif, who's a botanist in France. Who I think he distinguished the difference between the two grapes. And it's prominent in Israel, America, France, but it was known in France, but it didn't really flourish until it got to California.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Israel's such a prominent thing, but so that's the whole deal. It's got it's majorly, it's like way more tannic than a Syrah.
me
It's
pour myself a little
big.
more.
Oh yeah. It's dark and inky, but more tannic and more acidic than you'd probably get out of a Syrah. And it's maybe even a heavier mouthfeel, but brighter somehow than a Syrah is like darker and almost
More brooding.
yeah.
Brooding.
Brooding is a good word. Yeah.
It's like Janis Joplin is the artsy girlfriend. It's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
But Ann and I used to, we bought a whole bunch of Wild Hog Petite Syrah one time. And I always liked Petite Syrah. It's just like for me being the hater of Syrah, there's just something like flabby about a Syrah.
It's a different grape.
Right.
Did you know that?
So, are you guys serious?
You seem a bit concussed.
Are you guys kidding me right now? I thought it was a small Syrah.
It's
Just like the little grapes before they get big, right?
Yeah,
just
they're
pick
just
'em
not
too
ready
early.
yet.
it's dark fruit. It's like plums
Yes.
Yeah.
and like blueberries,
Black fruit.
black fruit,
Totally black fruit.
what are those black dark raraspberries?
They're called
But
blackberries.
the level of
thank you.
tannin, the
Scott,
level
you
of
sound
tannin.
concussed.
Are you concussed?
Just a little.
Those berries that are black, you know.
What do you call them? Blackberries?
Blackberries, babe.
No.
That girl had such a good point.
We apologize.
Really?
I'm gonna say what? We don't not sound concussed.
Touche. What was the damage on this, price wise?
This Petite Syrah was surprisingly $34
I'm not that surprised by it
at Steve's.
because
but-
of Stag's Leap has the reputation and the renown. They
I
can
mean, they've only been around for like
100 years
100
over
plus
100.
years, something.
Yep.
20, 30 years.
Yours because you poured a lot.
and only beat out all of the French in the 70s. You know, putting us on the map.
Yeah.
I guess they can get a few bucks.
They got a little swagger, I guess.
But
It's fun.
Yeah.
This is a fun wine.
yeah, and I could have gotten a cab or a blend or a Merlot, but this seemed a little bit more, a little different for us here at the Wine Wars podcast.
we've never
done
done this.
Petite Syrah.
We should. This is reminding me how fun it's the kind of wine that'll stain your teeth.
Yeah.
Can you tell by Jason's mouth?
I guess
Yeah.
that's where I got that thought.
You look like the Joker.
Dear
What?
Lord.
It's really I wonder like why it's so black.
None more black.
Because
How
the
much more
berries
black
black?
can it be?
Yeah.
What do you call those black berries? Grapes. Grapes. That's what they're called.
Yeah. No, this is really
Start over.
enjoyable.
It's fun. A lot of fun.
I had something to say, but then it just
Concussed.
completely went. Yeah.
So,
I'm not-
Amy, hit us with your flavors on this. What are you getting?
Oh, well, I definitely get like a juicy, like almost pruny kind of, but I love prunes. Like they're so good. Like a prune that was soaked in wine. Like that kind of flavor. Let's see what else.
So you know what freaks me out about this is I almost can't taste anything because it's so tannic. I'm like so like I can't distinguish much.
Really?
It's like got it.
You gotta fight with it.
Yeah.
We had minestrone for dinner and a beautiful loaf of beer bread that Amy made. Jason made our minestrone. It was really good. But I don't really think that was the right pairing for this.
No.
It was better with the Merlot.
Yeah.
I wonder if this would be good with like a seared tuna steak.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Peppery. Gamey.
The pepper to balance off the softness.
You guys, let's do that. Let's do a Petite
The Petite
Syrah
show?
and a tuna
That sounds
episode.
great.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. It just hit me. So when I was at Benny's trying to figure out 3 wines to pick for our show, and I couldn't figure out any because of the California problem, I was standing at the Petite Syrah section, and I was like, I should just get 3 or 4 Petite Syrahs right now because we've never done it, and it's a super cool wine in the grand scheme of things that doesn't get any love.
No.
Really doesn't.
In local news, we're supposed
This
to get,
just in?
We're supposed to get a Benny's in Madison.
What?
Are you talking total wine?
Total wine.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is not-
either way, what?
I don't know if that's 100% done and in the can yet, but that is
But put it on your vision board because
2,200 square foot total wine.
I don't like a big box,
No.
and I cannot lie. But if you're gonna big box,
Big box by
Big
me.
box.
total wine my box, right? Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking with interns Aaron and Aaron last night, and
Sure.
intern boy Aaron and I were talking about that, and we were both saying, we're very conflicted by that because
Right.
it'll bring in a lot of wines that our kind of local buyers might not have the clout and funds to purchase and bring in, but it also can deter from like Square Wine,
I know.
Field Table,
Table
Steve's.
wine.
Yep.
I
The
know.
thing
You're
about
right.
Wine, yeah.
I would say that our friends at Steve's and Square have is they're not buying that stuff.
Same. Yeah, you probably won't get a lot of overlap.
Yeah, they're buying a different breed of wine, and their clientele is up for the challenge of like them like giving them the experience that they need to understand why that one's cool and special and why they should pay a little more for that experience. So
You should
I
work PR for them.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'd be happy to. Like we obviously that's where our heart is, but I like that on the show we can purchase wine, experience the consumer side of wine as a listener would, which not everyone has a Square Wine.
Right.
And sometimes you are at Total Wine and sometimes you are at the grocery store. And I feel like we all drink enough wine that we're not hurting little guys, especially when we put the little guys first in our heart. But sometimes when you're at Costco and you're buying your Duraflames,
And you're like, oh, yeah, I need some red for tonight. Bam, there it is.
Bam.
I need a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night drink.
Weekday wine.
Weekday wine.
Weekday wine.
but I even feel bad even saying it because, of course, little guys first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We will never forget
Never forget.
the
hashtag never
Squares
forget.
and the Table Wines and Steve's and
No, we've got a very healthy rotation in our household of where we shop. I mean, we go
Wine
to
Mania.
at least all the places once
Wine
a
Mania.
month,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, we jump around.
Minimum.
Absolutely.
So.
And that's the way to do it because they're all going to have different wine in stock.
That never have the same stuff.
Right. That ideally they should not be overlapping.
I love that.
So
All right.
California
Go
with love.
visit. Yeah. We're the wine warriors here we have it on our vision board that we would like to go for a trip sometime soon and go experience it together and do some live podcasts and stuff from there. But we don't know when that's going to happen. So in the meantime, you guys go and tell us all that you learn and where we should put on our list.
If you have great experiences, if you find some vineyards and wineries, let us know.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts, folks?
Star Wars, excited.
Yes, Star Wars
so
excited.
excited.
But next time you hear us, we'll probably be just jabbering about Star Wars. So
A
Drivel.
Yeah, Drivel City.
We'll sound concussed.
that was really good.
Ray,
I liked it.
and she was like, and Poe was like, pew pew, and then like
Kylo Ren just
Kylo
shows
Ren.
up and he's all.
Let's
And
just
it
lost.
looks like
Let's just lost.
breathe,
Yeah.
just breathe.
And then Finn was all like, beep, 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 wah.
And Poe's like, yeah.
Chicka Majek.
And then the trailer was like,
Du, 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 du,
you
du.
can't see, I'm doing my hands like it's the.
Scrolling
Yeah.
The
words.
crawl.
Does that pick up on the mic?
God, I feel like we gave all the spoilers just now.
That's pretty much what the movie's gonna be.
Sorry, guys.
The crawl, the opening fanfare is always my favorite part of
I
the Star Wars
know.
movie.
I get chills
I do too.
Every
from
time.
my ass straight to my head.
Hey, let's talk about this for 1 second.
Okay.
Do you miss the da-ra-da, da-ra-da, da-ra-da,
Yeah,
da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? I missed that.
I
What?
do miss
That was
that.
the 20th Century
20th
Fox
Century
thing.
Fox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
21st century.
Why'd they get rid of it?
because Disney bought them.
Oh,
Well, sucks. So if you bought episode 4 now, does Disney own that, or is that still
They-
21st Century Fox? Like,
I think
So
they
if they
do.
were to really release it and put it out again,
They would tag Disney on in addition to
but would I get my?
drum roll.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably.
you know, maybe you could just bring a recording to the movie theater, and then
Play it in your
before
AirPods.
the crawl comes on,
There,
The theater would
there
probably
was
love
talk
that.
that they were going to buy 20th Century Fox. Though.
Oh, they'll just own everything.
Of course they will.
Oh my
All right.
God.
That's how-
Everything's
that's-
the worst.
Okay. All right. Enough
okay,
drivel.
Okay. So that's been the Wine Wars podcast for this week. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Please follow us on Facebook at Wine Wars Podcast, Twitter at Wine Wars Podcast, Instagram. That's what we do, right? Do we
Yep.
snap?
No.
We don't snap, but I am learning to snap. And I got to tell you, I hate it.
check out our show notes for links on how you can help the wineries
Help
that have
California.
had some problems with the wildfire and get them back on their feet.
Okay. We love you guys. And until next time, please remember,
It's just grape juice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wine Wars.